Hello, discussion on Zora Neale Hurston's Sweat from 1926. Uh, Question number one. It does seem that she gives a narrative in the story of things that were part of their history in their past. She doesn't need to include all of it because of the fact that in that moment that we're reading about and what we're seeing, we know that something has occurred in the past where it's not just spousal abuse, but also the fact that they also strive to have something better in their lives, thinking that, you know, if in time they can achieve greatness, but it seems that they just stuck in a rut. Uh, Delia thought that she had a knight in shining armor, but in the long run, he's basically just leeching and living off of her blood, sweat, and tears, basically. Um, so you could sort of tell that uh, you don't need to have an old rehash of events that might have happened. Question number two, the irony embedded in Delia Sweats Sykes about the white folks. The, the issue there is that the class system. Do you think that in that day and age, most likely because of the accents that they're or the colloquial slang that they're using when they speak, is basically the South uh, of the 1920s. Uh, at that point in time, white uh, population was really not interested in what happened with the black population. So, whatever idle threats she was making, and they were idle threats, they would care less what he did to his wife, because they didn't care what they did to any of each other, as long as they stayed with their group of people and left the other group of people alone. The whites and the blacks, basically, of the South. Question number three, there is more than one. There is a verbal irony and there's dramatic irony, especially when the gentlemen are talking about how Delia was such a beautiful, beautiful young woman when she met Sykes. And in 15 years of marriage, he has basically caused her, because she needs to work to maintain, to live a life, to have her hands basically become gnarly knuckles from all the years of washing that she's been doing, and he's just there freeloading. Um, the irony is that he thinks that they could have been much better, but he's the reason that they're in that situation. And then the fact at the end, when the dramatic irony, where uh, she knows what's there in the house, the Rattler, while Sykes does not. And then the final irony is that Sykes realizes that, oh, sh- she's at the door, but she's not coming in because she knows the snake is here. So it's there's irony all abound in the storyline. Question number four: is it important to understand the setting of the art? Yes, it is definitely important because, especially of the language, it's a little difficult to understand some of the words that are being spoken, only because of the fact that it's a slang that we're not used to. We're not used to it mainly because of time, and we're not used to it because of region. Someone who would speak in a certain manner here in like East Los Angeles, I sometimes have a hard understanding them, even though they're American citizens. They live here, but yet they speak with a hard accent because of the way that they were raised. The same with a lot of Hasidic Jews in New York. They speak in an accent, yet they're American citizens because they're in a group that's how they speak to each other and they understand each other. The Yiddish, the Hebrew that they use and stuff like that. The racial trauma, number five, the racial trauma theme is racial trauma a theme in the story. The sex relationship is different. Yeah, yeah, it would be different today, because of the fact that there are more people that care about what's going on in relationships, and the racial trauma between them is really more the oppression of where they're living at and their situation. They, at least Delia, loves her life and her work. That's the one thing. But it seems that Sykes just wants more, but he wants it for free. And racially, they're being oppressed because of the racism that happens in the South at the time, and hopefully in 2020, well, 2022, we're asking here in 2021, but even 2022, it's better. But with today's situations, with the way the world is, we can always do more. All right, thank you very much.